let's talk BYU basketball before we go on today's show. And if you missed it yesterday, the preseason AP Top 25 poll is out, and your BYU Cougars, drum roll please, they are number 8. Yes, they are inside the top 10 in the preseason national polls. Now, that is the highest ranking ever in BYU program history. Before this, BYU has been in the preseason polls just 6 times. And obviously, the stakes for BYU this year with the top-rated prospect at one time in AJ Dybantsa, as well as having returners like a Richie Saunders, a high-profile transfer in guys like Robert Wright III, the stakes could not be higher for Kevin Young and company going into this season. There's just zero doubt about that. And when you have a number 8 ranking attached to your name and the high-profile matchups you're going to play throughout the season, both in the non-conference and obviously during your conference play in the Big 12, BYU is in a very, very advantageous spot to start this season, but can they hold on to it? And more importantly, can they improve upon it? And will they deal with the pressure as we hope they all do? Because once again, the pressure on this program is immense because the expectation is, AJ has said himself, the floor for this team is the Sweet 16. I don't need to remind any of you who are college basketball fans who have watched BYU. They have exactly 3 Sweet 16s in the past 45 years, going back to 1980 and Danny Ainge. That's pretty incredible to consider that AJ is saying the floor is the Sweet 16. BYU also has never been to a Final Four. The farthest they made it is the Elite 8 with Danny Ainge. They are going to play in some pretty rarefied air if they can achieve what they hope to achieve this season. But the good news is they have the talent. There's just zero doubt about that. Kevin Young has gone about putting together a roster that can compete at a national level. He has got shooting. He's got rebounding. He's got on-ball defense. He's got true superstar talent in twin wing players in AJ Dybantsa as well as Richie Saunders that everything can run through in this program. He's got a rim rolling big who's got an incredible penchant for being a great defensive player in Keba Keita. Kennard Davis Jr., I think, is going to be that junkyard dog like a guy like Mawit Mag was a season ago for BYU, but with even more offensive arsenal than Mag had. Like I said, Robert Wright III, he's going to kind of be the spark plug that makes everything go in this, setting his guys up and dishing it off to guys, but at the same time, being unafraid of taking over in big moments if the need calls for it. I love the fact that BYU is making history once again with their highest ever preseason ranking because it's well-deserved. They have put together a program, and they've done it in extremely short order, considering when Kevin Young finally arrived in Provo. We're about a year and not even a year and a half into his tenure. And to consider where he has been and what he's accomplished already, what's the ceiling? And I don't even want to consider what the ceiling is because it should be undefined right now. Everything is out there for BYU to go out there and seize it. Yes, they could fall flat on their face and things could go absolutely awry. There is zero doubt about that. But the way things look right now, BYU basketball looks like they are going to be an absolute force in the Big 12. They're going to be a force nationally, and the number 8 preseason ranking backs all that up. They're expected to be, if you go by a number 8 ranking, is that at worst like a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament? And yes, BYU, even with the lofty situation they could find themselves in if they take care of business this season. We all know that the seeding situation and the no Sunday play policy for BYU, that could come into play in terms of knocking BYU down a seed line potentially. But at the same time, if you're good enough, guess what the NCAA tournament committee will do? They will make sure that you are in the spot you need to be in to go out there and play where you need to play and play Thursday, Saturday, and have a chance to make a run here. I am super, super excited to watch this team play. And we get our first real look at them coming up on Saturday morning. It's a day-night matinee evening doubleheader. If you want to watch BYU basketball in the morning, it'll be at Nebraska. They're playing in Lincoln. It'll be on Big Ten Plus, streaming only. If you want to tune into that, you have to get the streaming service from the Big Ten Network. But you can see this team in actual game action. We saw last week the blue and white scrimmage. It showed some things. I really liked what I saw from this team, but that's against their own guys. They've been going against these guys for literally months at this point. So they're sick of going against one another. So a chance to play against Nebraska and see what Fred Hoiberg and the Cornhuskers have, I think it'll be a fun thing to watch that play out. And then the following week, BYU kicks off their own home exhibition season by playing a fellow top 25 ranked team. Yes, the North Carolina Tar Heels. They are ranked 25th in the preseason poll, and they will play that game in the Delta Center. Beyond that, if you look ahead this season, in the preseason poll, BYU will play Houston, who is number 2, UConn, who is number 4, Texas Tech, who is number 10, Arizona, who's 13th, Iowa State, who's 16th, Kansas, 19th, and Wisconsin, 24th. That is 7 teams that are ranked in the preseason top 25 BYU has either in the non-conference or on their conference schedule. Gone are the days of BYU playing a patsy non-conference slate. And Kevin Young said it last year. He felt it absolutely hurt his team going into conference play, the weak non-conference schedule that they played. Now, circumstances being what they were by the time he was hired, a lot of non-conference schedules and high-name opponents are hard to schedule at that point. So they had to kind of make do with what they had. He has decided that going forward, what we have seen this year is going to be more of the norm for BYU. They're going to load up in the non-conference to test themselves and get a real good feel for where they're deficient. And the hopes are that once you get through that non-conference slate, even with some of the dogs you will also play, just because the nature of scheduling is that you will bring in some money games. By the time you get to the Big 12 schedule, you should be battle-tested, hardened, and ready to take on whoever comes up first in the Big 12, because we all know this league. It is really, really deep. It's really, really talented. And these teams on any given night can beat up on one another. And BYU's got to be ready for that because they came out of the gates very, very slowly last year. I don't need to remind you guys, they were 2-4 at one point through their first 6 games in Big 12 play. To their credit, they turned it around. I think it was a 12-2 run down the stretch, including the 9 straight wins to close up the regular season that ultimately got them where they were in the NCAA tournament and parlayed that into a great, not necessarily a great run, a decent run in the Big 12 tournament, but a great run in the NCAA tournament before bowing out in the Sweet 16. But that's once again where AJ Dybantsa is setting the floor for this team. He said it with his own mouth. And I think that he has got everything within him to help BYU reach these lofty goals that they have set for themselves. He has set for this team. And I, for one, I'm here for all of it. I am super excited to track this team. I've said it once. I'll say it again on this podcast. I am super reticent to ever wish away a college football season because college football, it's my baby. It is my first love. Speaking of the crazy sport that is college football, but the way that BYU basketball looks right now, I'm ready for this to be November 3rd and BYU playing Villanova in that opening game down there in Las Vegas. We're going to learn a lot about Kevin Young's team in very short order, right out of the chute of this exhibition season, even right out of the chute of the regular season, because they've loaded up. And these teams that they're going up against, their fellow Power 5 in the basketball world, it's 5 because they have the Big East as part of the power leagues. And it's going to test them. And they're going to learn a lot about themselves very quickly. Will they have the shooting necessary to bail them out in games when they may not have the offense flowing as it should through AJ Dybantsa and Richie Saunders? Are other players like Robert Wright III or Kennard Davis Jr. capable of stepping up in a moment where foul trouble hits for both Richie Saunders and AJ Dybantsa and helping lead BYU and carry that scoring load with them on the bench? All of that's going to be learned very quickly this season. And should BYU pass those tests, there's no reason to think that they're not going to fly high and once again, make a run to the Sweet 16. Heck, make a run to the Final Four. I am here for it. And I would love nothing more than to be, I don't remember, what's the Final Four this year? Is it Indianapolis? I don't know where it's at. I apologize. Probably should look that up ahead of time. I would love nothing more than to be traveling in early April and watching BYU play on the biggest stage in college basketball in a football facility that holds 50,000+ fans. It is a sight to behold, and I would love nothing more than to experience my first Final Four covering the Brigham Young University men's basketball team. That is what I'm hoping for. I've never been to a Final Four before this, and I would hope that maybe this year is the year that BYU kind of gets that monkey off its back of being the team that has the most NCAA tournament appearances without a Final Four appearance. It's 30+ at this point, so it's high time BYU breakthrough, and we'll see if they can accomplish it this year with this year's squad, because got a lot of talent and a lot of expectation with that preseason number 8 ranking, and we'll see how the Cougars and KYU handle it as they get going here in just a few weeks' time.